Welcome to the Boomer's Guide to a Vibrant Life with Vicki Washington. Vicki and her guests will share their journey of the golden years and how they're creating a vibrant life. Topics will include family, fun, life, love, travel, and everything Boomer. You too can have the best of your vibrant life now. We are broadcasting from Global Voice Radio every week, and now here's your host, Vicki Washburn.
Tonight, my guest is Dr. Debbie Kucharski. And Dr. Deb is one of my dear friends and my mentor. She is a chiropractor who has practiced for 28 years and network 30.
Can you believe it?
30 years.
Oh my gosh.
She is a network marketing leader and a C.A.R.E instructor, a wonderful teacher, a very knowledgeable health professional, and I'm very excited to have her with us tonight. Hi, my friend.
Hey there. I am really excited to be here. How fun this is.
It is fun.
This is one of our words for the year, isn't it, Miss Vicki?
Yes.
To have more fun.
Fun.
As
yes.
ladies who have worked very hard our whole lives, we are ready to have more fun.
Yes.
And I love the name of your show because, you know, it really is the Boomer's Guide. So we're going to add in there the Boomer's Guide to being healthy and having more fun.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
Which is all part of living vibrantly.
Yes, it is. Yes, it absolutely is.
Yep. My word today, I had a session with Monica Murray.
Oh, good. Isn't she fabulous?
She is. And she's going to be on my show in 2 weeks. So
Excellent.
Everybody put on your calendar. Monica is just priceless. And we decided today that my word is joy. So
oh, I love that.
I do too.
Yes.
So,
and hey, I know of a good essential oil named Joy that you just might have a bottle of in your own home.
I think I have several bottles, as a matter of fact. And
why would you ever be without it?
Exactly. I keep it in my briefcase so that I can put it on all the time.
I think I'm sniffing some Harmony on my wrists right now.
Well, that's
it's kind of been one of those weeks.
Yeah, we put Harmony on before I left her office today. I put Harmony on and we breathed in joy. Bring
so
our chakras into alignment.
Yeah.
And to bring our chakras into harmony.
There you go. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, both of you ladies are just delightful, and so happy to have both of you in my life, for sure.
Well, I think we're going to have fun when we do the interview for sure. So,
yep.
So tonight, let's talk about one of the things that I know is an issue for so many women in the boomer generation and men, and that is hormones. And
hormones.
They affect us in so many ways, not only our physical health, but our emotional health and just our attitude in general, and are very key in the way we age.
Yes, absolutely. And it's interesting because that you mentioned men and women, because most women, when you say the word hormones, what's the first thing they think of? They're raging. Yes, yeah. Exactly. Or their lack thereof. They're raging. They're either PMSing or they're menopausing or something related into female hormones. And yet hormones literally affect every system of your body, not just the reproductive system. So this is a great topic, one that I love to teach on and I talk about all day long in my practice. And we'll have to do several. This will be kind of a several-parter here, Miss Vicki, because we can kind of build and build. So let me just tell you something that happened today, just right today. And it's such a great example of how we are affected in ways that we don't even think of in our environment, in our bodies. So like Vicki said, I've been a chiropractor 30 years. I've pretty much focused on women's health. When I first started my practice, my target demographic was young moms or young women, childbearing age. Hopefully I could get them before they got pregnant because of this very subject. I wanted their endocrine system, their hormone system, to be as tip top as possible before they even got pregnant, so that they can have a healthier pregnancy. Baby can be born in a more joyful environment. There's that word. So I had a patient laying on the table today, and she said, well, man, so I do my assessment. I do my chiropractic assessment, which includes muscle testing. You might have heard of it, applied kinesiology, touch for health, or different things people call it depending on what technique that chiropractor does. And it allows us to kind of look inside the body to see which systems are stressed in a certain way. We're not diagnosing pathology. We are helping to see at what level different organ systems are functioning and how we can increase their level of functioning to the next level of health for that particular system. And so I always do my assessment, and then I go back and I correlate that with a scan that we call ITOVI, and I think you actually have an ITOVI scanner. I never look at it before I see that patient. I always look at it after I do my assessment, because I don't want my educated intelligence to be swayed one way or the other. I want to be really objective. So when I looked at this patient, her liver needed some help. It was running kind of sluggishly. And so we were talking about that, and she said this. She said, you know, why, she's 72. She says, why is my liver so mucked up? I don't drink. I've never drank in my life. And so a lot of times people think, well, if your liver's not working well, then that means you're drinking too much. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg, really. Every chemical, every food, every hand lotion, body lotion, face wash, shampoo, dishwashing soap, anything that touches your skin or goes inside your body, whether it's through your mouth, through your nose, through your skin, whatever, your liver has to deal with. So whether you ever drink or not, you know, I go to work in the morning and I'm seeing whatever you think about the word chemtrails. This is not the place that we might do it. We might do a show on that one time, but you know, we know that there are chemicals in our environment that we have no control over taking into our body, because we have to live in the world. We can't live in a bubble. And so we had that conversation, I think, just exactly what I just said. Everything that you come in contact with, your liver has to deal with. Lorianne Powell, I think you know Lorianne, right?
I do.
She either wrote an article or she read an article called 80 Ways to Poison Yourself Before Breakfast, because women put on an average of 80 different synthetic chemicals before they even go downstairs to the breakfast table. Isn't that just eye-opening and appalling at the same time? Whether it's, you know, your mouthwash with the alcohol and the artificial dyes and the artificial sweeteners, and then your toothpaste with the fluoride, and then your face and your shampoo and all that stuff, makeup, all of that stuff is just piling onto your body. You think you look radiant and beautiful, you probably do, but your liver has to deal with all that. So that happened. We had that conversation with this lady. And then a couple patients down the line, this couple comes in. They're from Kansas. They drive down to see me from time to time, and they have a cattle ranch, and they are talking about how they're working with their son to develop a machine that will take the cost down of spraying the chemicals to kill the weeds on this pasture land, that the cows eat the grass and then we eat this beef. So they're creating this machine to cut the chemicals down so they can save, instead of paying $15 an acre for chemicals to kill one specific type of weed, Vicki, one weed. How many weeds do you see out in your yard when you go out there, right? So they can take the cost down from $15 an acre to $4 an acre. Never once was it a concern for them that they're spraying these chemicals on the grass, right? So I'm listening. And then I'm thinking back to this patient a few patients ahead, and she's saying, well, I don't drink. How is my liver so mucked up?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the big picture of hormones, your liver is one of the main organ systems that helps you make healthy hormones in your body. Your body makes hormones out of cholesterol. When we're talking about female reproductive hormones specifically, your body makes it out of cholesterol. So
that was an aha moment for me when I went to your hormone class and you talked about cholesterol being the kind of the foundation of all the hormones.
Yes,
I was absolutely shocked. I had no idea. I had never heard that before.
And do you know what makes your cholesterol in your body? Your liver.
Ah.
So your liver makes the cholesterol, makes your cholesterol out of the food you eat. So if you're eating a nice piece of lean beef that you think is healthy, and yet it's just been sprayed for chemicals on the pasture land that you don't know this, right? Most people don't know this. You go down to Mahogany's and you're paying $84.50 for a sirloin, right?
Right.
And it's sprayed with this, right? So your liver makes cholesterol out of the foods you eat, and the higher quality food you eat, the higher quality cholesterol your liver can have an opportunity to make. The fewer chemicals you ingest or slather on your body, the healthier cholesterol your liver can produce to make the hormones, your reproductive hormones, talking specifically about, right at this second. So it just was kind of like, yeah, okay, I wish that patient could have been a fly on the wall listening to this conversation, because she was hearing me, but that was like a real working knowledge in everyday life of a rancher, that this is what they do. And it's just going over their head that this is what they're spraying. And they've been doing it for 48 years. They're in their 70s, these people, 75. So that's just one thing that I kind of think about when God deals with me a lot about helping people get what I call their basics covered. If you're not drinking enough water, if you're not getting good rest, if you're not eating real food and lots of good fat, and you're not breathing deeply and getting some good exercise and watching your thoughts. You mentioned emotions. The way you think will produce an emotion, whether a positive one or a stressful one. And over time, those thoughts and those emotions will trickle down into physical manifestation, settle in an organ system in your body, and either reflect health or dis-ease. And so these are basic things that we need to kind of be thinking about all day long, which is why your word of joy, my word of fun, is so important, because we are rushing all the time, right? That every time you're going from one emergency to the next, you're making a hormone. Your body literally makes hormones, neurotransmitters that your brain produces that either keep you revved up in stress, cortisol, or help you kind of rest and digest and heal and recover. So that really kind of in a nutshell is a foundation for whether you're producing good hormones or not. What I find in my practice, the three most common organ systems that tend to be sluggish in most people are going to be your liver, your large intestine, and your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands, most people kind of think of as your stress glands. Your adrenal glands are pretty amazing. They secrete over 60 different hormones all day long, up and down. Reproductive hormones, sex hormones, stress hormones, hormones that help your heart, hormones that help your thyroid, hormones that help with your fluid imbalance through your kidneys. All of that stuff your adrenals are doing. Blood sugar balance. Your inflammatory response in your muscles, how your blood vessels are contracting and relaxing, all of that stuff, how your brain is thinking, your adrenal glands are involved with doing. So in our rush lifestyle, you mentioned cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone that is, we kind of call it, some people call it the death hormone. Some people call it the stress hormone. I don't really like the death hormone thing, because you know what? God doesn't produce anything that's death. God is love. God is life. And cortisol is something that is produced by your body during times of stress. Here's the key, though. That stress, the way God designed us, should be short-lived. You hear a screeching tire, you go out, you whisk up your grandchild and you run back in the house, put her on the couch, take a deep breath, give her her sippy cup. The emergency is over. That cortisol should go away. But guess what happens? It doesn't happen that way, does it? Because then the phone rings and it's the attorney. And then the neighbor comes over saying that his shed was just broken into, and be careful because there's a burglar in the neighborhood. And then the toilet overflows, and then, right? So we're kind of going from one emergency to the next all the time. We don't really have an opportunity as much as we would like in our busy lifestyles anymore to come back to that rest and digest and heal and recuperate. But it's really important that we learn how to get there. And that's some of the things that you're talking about on the radio show, right? Is teaching people how to manifest more relaxation, more joy, more love. So when we talk about the big picture of hormones, the most important things to start with is getting those things, those basics covered that I just mentioned. Let me mention them again. Drinking lots of water, at least a half an ounce per pound of body weight every day. The only exception to that, and I kind of hesitate to mention it, but it is a reality. There are some real healthy vegetarians and maybe even vegans who eat lots and lots and lots of high water content fruits and vegetables every day. That would be the only exception. The more amounts of high water content fruits and vegetables you're eating, you're getting a lot of water from them. But for the most part, for most of us who are eating some more concentrated foods, some proteins and beans and grains and things like that, half an ounce per pound of body weight. Making sure
as we age, do we need more water?
Well, we might not necessarily need more, but we might need to have a higher quality of water. So that could be something like getting some enhanced water. There's some Willard water out there that you can get at the health food store. My friend Margie owns a company called Pure Radiance. She would be a great one to have on your radio show someday. That's called enhanced water, penta water, some additives to water that actually make the water wetter. It breaks up the molecules so that it can actually get into our cells easier. Kangen water, the Hydrogize by Young Living, that helps to break up those molecules into smaller particles. The reason why we need those, Vicki, now is because it's something like, I'm going to say a range of 70 to 80%, 70 to 80% of the water that's on the planet today is processed water, dead water, right? It's been recycled over and over again in water processing plants. It's been chemicalized and it's been heated and all of those things. So it's a dead product now. It's not a live product. Like if you were in nature and you lived near a babbling brook and that water was splashing up in the stones and being oxygenated by the fresh air, that's live pure water, the way God intended it, or water that comes out of the ground that's going through, filtering through rocks and silt,
full
and
of minerals
like
and full of all the good
full
stuff
of minerals, full of oxygen. Yes, absolutely. So that's why I say as we get older, we might not need more water, but we definitely need a higher quality of water. So boy, we can talk about water even for a whole radio show. There's so much to health now that we really want to be aware of, because we're being bombarded with so many unhealthy things. So
yeah, we've gotten so far away from nature.
We have.
Nature is really where our health is.
Yes, God put us in a garden, and how often do we visit that garden?
Yeah.
Not often enough.
Not often enough.
I kind of say, I kind of go from my cave to my cage, from my home to my office, and then back again. And most of us are doing that now.
Yeah.
I think that, I'm from Los Angeles area, and it was worse when I lived there. I'm grateful to now be in Oklahoma, where there are a lot of even local people that farm, and you can get outside more, and there's some elbow room here. I've got an acre now versus a tiny little townhouse, and it is really important. So even taking your shoes off and walking outside when you can is real good for you. So, so what you drink. The next one is how you sleep. A lot of us, because of that cortisol you mentioned already, that stress hormone is supposed to be short-lived. It's supposed to go, as soon as that emergency is over, it's supposed to go down. Well, a lot of us have high cortisol levels that are kind of lasting throughout the day. Here's one way to tell if you have high cortisol levels. At 3 o'clock, you're getting that post-lunch dip, and you're really wanting, you know, an espresso or some green tea or something with caffeine in it to perk you back up. And then when you go home at night and it's 10 o'clock at night and you should be winding down, you now have all this energy. And so you try to go to sleep and you can't, you're wide-eyed because your cortisol is too high at night when it should be low. And then you finally get to sleep at 2 o'clock and you can't get good sleep because, of course, you're thinking about your to-do list the next day. When you wake up in the morning, you feel like you've been hit by a truck and you're not rested. And now your cortisol levels are low, which they should be high in the morning. So a lot of people are switched that way. There are some nutritional products that you can do to help change that. There are prayer and meditation practices that you can do to change that. There are certain massage techniques like vibrational raindrop and things like that that can help to reset your body so that your cortisol levels will be back to in that proper circadian rhythm. Even the work that Monica Murray does can help reset your body into that proper circadian rhythm. Very, very important. So sleep is a really important subject because especially as we get older, like women who are going through menopause, sleep issues is one of the top 30 symptoms, probably the second one next to hot flashes.
And is that because of the cortisol?
Well, it's because of the adrenals. Your adrenals are tired. As your ovary function starts to decline. Now in my opinion, in my experience, in my understanding of female physiology, your ovaries never stop functioning. They do radically decline. You're not ovulating anymore. But the healthier your adrenal glands are, since your adrenal glands have to make up for that loss of that ovarian function, the healthier those adrenal glands are at any transition of your life, but specifically menopause in this example, the easier transition you'll have. If your adrenals are already tired going to in menopause, your cortisol levels are kind of switched in the way they're supposed to be, and you're going to have a hard time sleeping. So I talked about the adrenals and the liver being mucked up and in the large intestine. We'll go back to that in a minute. So sleeping is really important. Here's what's important in my understanding the way your adrenal glands work. If you can be in bed by 10 o'clock, you know your body has a circadian rhythm and all your organ systems are kind of fluctuating and they have specific times through that 24-hour clock when they're supposed to be in their regeneration cycle. Kind of like a Borg in its regeneration cove on the Voyager Star Trek.
Yeah.
Are you a Trekkie? Okay.
I am a Trekkie.
Yes. So being in bed at 10 is really important and your adrenals really like that. Even if you're not sleeping at that time, being horizontal is really important. No screens, so no computer, no phones. You can read if you want to, but you got to get that light out of you got to get the artificial light out of your eyes because your pineal gland is thinking it's still daytime, right? So try to be in bed by 10 and for sure to be asleep if you can by midnight. Your adrenals are going to be a lot happier. Decreasing your intake of refined carbohydrates or anything that turns into sugar really quickly or sugar itself, and caffeine and getting good quality sleep are the three things that your adrenals like the most. So just to think about that. So good sleep is real good. Eating real food, what you eat. The healthier food choices you make, the healthier hormones you can make, and the less stress on your liver. Exercise. If you already know that your adrenals are pretty tired, which a lot of people's are, don't think you're going to start a CrossFit program. Start with some walking. Start with a little bit of stretching or some yoga, maybe some Pilates, but don't do anything super, super strenuous. You'll even make your adrenals more angry and more tired, okay? How you breathe. Important. My rule is whatever you do for exercise, choose something you enjoy. That way you'll stick with it. If you enjoy skating or biking, do that. If you enjoy even just playing ping pong, do that. Do something that you're going to like to continue to stay active, and that'll help you breathe deeper and get some more oxygen exchange. And then, so we did water, we did sleep, Oh, and by the way, soda and tea do not count the water. Water is water. All those other liquid beverages are everything else, okay? Sleep, exercise, breathe.
So
Eat.
tea, let's talk about tea a minute.
Okay.
Because tea has so many good health benefits.
It does.
But
It does.
But what you're saying is on top of half our body weight in ounces
Of water.
Pure
water.
The tea, if we're going to drink tea, even for the health benefits, it needs to be on top of that.
Yes, and the reason for that is in tea, there are solids floating around, which is what gives tea its color.
Mm-hmm.
When you soak that tea bag in there, there are solids that are coming out from those herbs and flowers.
Right.
So your body can't really use it in a very specific ionic exchange of transporting nutrients across the cell membrane. It can use it to a certain effect, and that's fine, especially if you're doing a healing herbal tea. But a caffeinated tea, not so much, especially since caffeine by its very nature is dehydrating. So that's a really good question. Yeah, tea is fabulous. And in fact, Ula tea just came out with some.
Yeah.
Have you tried any of the Ula teas yet?
I interviewed the Ula guys last month.
You did? How fun.
Did.
I didn't know that. That's exciting.
Yes, I did. And I think I have, 8 bags of Ula tea on my kitchen counter.
Excellent. Yeah. I've got the energy one and the detox one. Now, do you put your vitality oils in there as well?
I do.
Yeah.
I have to. I just started a new project, and so I haven't got, when you move to a new project, you have to, it's like moving to a new house. And I haven't gotten a ceramic coffee cup there so that I can put my oils in with my tea. And they have these little cups that are kind of a mixture of paper and plastic. And so I've been afraid to put any oils in.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a minute. Remember I was talking about the guys who were talking about spraying fewer chemicals, right? So when we're talking about chemicals in the environment and chemicals in plastic and chemicals in our skincare and health care products, personal care products, those chemicals are from petroleum products. Most of them are made from petroleum products, and those petroleum products produce chemicals and plastics that are actually synthetically estrogenic. That means that we call them xenoestrogens. That means that they have a negative / inflammatory synthetic estrogenic effect on your body, whether you're male or female. And so when you're drinking you're so smart to get your ceramic cup, because if you're putting essential oils whose job it is to detoxify those petrochemicals and those xenoestrogens out of your body into a plastic something, it'll actually leach those plastics in the liquid you're drinking. So that's wise. I'm glad you waited to do that. So,
and I think a lot of people don't realize, they see a plastic and they think it's hard. But plastic is made out of petrochemicals. And petrochemicals by nature off gas.
Yes.
They are volatile.
Yeah, they are volatile.
So taking them through the process to make plastic does not make them any less volatile.
Right. It's just changing the shape or the whatever of that.
Right.
That
and
product,
just like you walk into a room of new laid carpet and you can smell that chemical, it's the same in the plastics. And a lot of people I don't think realize that.
No. Yeah, they just don't know. So that's why we do educational programs like this, so people will know. And so drink out of glass is my first choice. Stainless steel is my second. Stainless steel is not all bad. You have to make sure that you're getting a good quality stainless steel, because there are some stainless steels that are made, maybe in other countries that don't have as strict guidelines, and they're not a real true pure surgical stainless steel, and they will still have certain leads and other heavy metals in them. And especially if you're putting your essential oils in there. When I went through to my recertification for my for the Center for Aromatherapy Research and Education last summer, they had done kind of an unofficial study found out that cinnamon bark oil will actually, just like the lemon or other citrus oils will leach out the petrochemicals from plastic and styrofoam, cinnamon bark oil will leach out impurities from impure stainless steel. And so I thought that was really interesting. So that's why now I don't put any oils in my stainless steel containers, but I will still put them in my glass. So just FYI on that. So healthy hormones, healthy liver. The healthier your liver is, the healthier cholesterol you're going to make some of your healthy hormones, specifically the androgens, all of those the male and female reproductive hormones. Healthy adrenals. The healthier your adrenals are, the stronger your adrenals are, the healthier a hormone response you will have, because your adrenals themselves secrete 60 hormones all day long that affect every part of your body, not just the reproductive part. So keeping your adrenals healthy by getting good sleep, trying to be in bed by 10, horizontal, reading with a soft light, not looking at your phone, getting to sleep by midnight for sure, getting a good night rest, decreasing your intake of caffeine and things that turn into sugar quickly. So your refined carbohydrates, white foods, things like that, white potatoes, white rice, white bread. And then the next organ is the large intestine. Most of us are really not eliminating as effectively as we can. But if you think about that, the liver is connected with the large intestine. If you're not eliminating toxins, natural toxins from your food, and then also the toxins that we take into from our environment, then your liver actually reabsorbs that. Your intestines reabsorb that, and then it goes back through your liver again. So your liver is almost kind of getting a double whammy. So you've got to be eliminating every day. I cringe when people tell me that they don't eliminate more than twice a week. Now, there are some people who say that, well, it's normal for me. Well, it might be average for you, but it's not normal, because that is not normal for the human body. If you're eating every day, you need to be eliminating every day. So that's very important. And increasing your water intake can really help with that. A lot of us, if we're not drinking enough water and we're not moving enough, that just doing those two things will help with that. Now, this is a really interesting quote that I've heard from lots of different national healthcare providers. I can say their names. If you were in the nutrition world, you might recognize them, but they all agree on this one statement, that for the most part, people come to them with it, even if it's a serious condition, just by putting that person through a nice, healthy, comprehensive bowel cleanse for 21 to 28 days, 80% of them will get better from their symptoms, because it just shows us how toxic we are and how many toxins we're holding in our intestines. Isn't that amazing? And isn't that empowering at the same time? That gives you all the power. You're making a better food choice. You're eliminating better. Your body can do its job better, which includes getting rid of toxins and keeping you healthy. Your body was designed to heal and restore itself, and it does it better if you're living the way God put us in that garden and to live by, right? Lots of fresh fruits and veggies. And good sunshine.
One thing I never could convince my mom of, and that is, the more water you drink, everybody goes, she used to say this to me all the time. Oh, I just can't. I've got a 3-hour trip. I can't be stopping to go to the bathroom all the time. And I'd say, Mom, if you drink water like you're supposed to, you won't be running to the bathroom near as often. That's a sign you're dehydrated.
Yeah.
Drink enough water, your body will get hydrated, and then it'll work fine.
Right, because
run to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
Right. And especially with a good quality water like the ones we talked about, it's getting into the cell. It's not just sloshing around in your intestines and then passing out through your kidneys. It's actually being absorbed into the cell, which when it does that, it's transporting nutrients across that cell membrane into the cell, and that water is then taking waste products out of that cell. So that's a really good point. Okay. So how are we doing?
What can we do to, what is a simple thing we can do besides water to help with the elimination process, or to help detox our whole system?
Keep moving. Move regularly, and get some good exercise every day. Eat lots of fiber. Now, there are two different types of fiber. The types of fiber that keeps your elimination going every day is the kind that's found in the cell walls of plants. So lots of fruits and vegetables with that cellulose layer that your body cannot digest. That's going to help keep things moving. And then the caveat to that is, provided you're drinking enough water, because if you increase your fiber but you don't increase your water, it'll kind of it can have the opposite effect. Unless you're eating, again, the high water content fruits and vegetables, like citrus fruits and peppers and lettuces and things like that have lots of good water in them. A nice juicy pear, it's got a great combination of the fibers and of the water in there. So watermelon is great. It's like 90% water.
Yeah.
So increase your fresh fruits and vegetables, increase your water, take some fermented foods or some probiotics. So that's kind of a buzzword. Most people know about probiotics now, but fermented foods like raw sauerkraut or kimchi or kombucha, those things are going to, kefir that you can make at home real easily with your own raw milk. That has in it all of those beneficial bacteria that will implant themselves in your intestines, and that will keep you eliminating properly. Okay? If you're into essential oils, there's some great oils that will help tonify, support digestive function, that can keep things moving as well.
We need to do a class on fermented foods. We need somebody to do a class.
Well, and I have, Lorianne Powell's daughter, Bethany, does a great class on fermented foods. She's actually done one at my office. So we can do that. And that would be good, because I've tried it twice, and each time I botched it. So that is a great class that we can
I've made great yogurt. I can make great yogurt.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it's so simple. I found this recipe, and it was just, you took a pint jar, you put 8 ounces of coconut milk in it, but they said you could use whatever kind of milk you wanted. I just chose coconut milk. I took 2 of the Life 9 probiotic capsules, broke them up, put them in there, ran it through my bullet to make sure the probiotics got mixed in real good with everything, put it back in the jar, put cheesecloth on the top, put a rubber band around it, let it sit on the counter for 2 days, 48 hours, done. It was yogurt. Really? It was thick. It tasted great. It was awesome.
That is really something else. See, now
I always
thought that yogurt had to be heated, and that was the difference between yogurt and kefir. But kefir really has the SCOBY in it, whereas this is you're putting the probiotics in there. Man, that's amazing. And so, how much coconut milk did you do with those?
1 can. I just did 1 can, which was 8 ounces, I think, or maybe 15 ounces. I just got a ball jar, a little pint ball jar. Mm-hmm. And I've done it with the canned coconut milk, and I've done it with the coconut milk in a carton.
And did you put any flavor in there?
No, I didn't. But the key is, if you use the kind in the carton and you take it out of the refrigerator, you've got to let it get to room temperature before you put your probiotics in it.
Right. Yeah, because if it's still cold, it really slows down the action of those little microbes, doesn't it?
Right. And so that may be why yogurt is cooked. There's some great recipes for using an instant pot to make.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a yogurt. It has a button that says yogurt. It's a yogurt maker. So, those are some simple, easy recipes that anybody can do, and they're inexpensive. Mm-hmm. And probiotics are a pretty inexpensive thing. And keeping your gut flora is healthy.
Priceless.
Good for your immune system, your hormones, your everything.
Your brain. Everything.
Which are all things that, as we get older, we need to be very conscious of.
Right. We want to be supporting those better and better, for sure. Yeah. Great information. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's just tons of information here. And like you said, we're going to have to do this again. So I'll call you and we'll set up another day.
We will set up another date. It's a
and
great
we will
time.
talk some more.
Thank you, Vicki. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Dr. Deb. And
We'll talk
if
soon.
you give everybody your website, tell them how they can find you.
Okay, so they can find me anywhere, either on Facebook or the web, Dr. Deb for You, DRDEB, the number 4, the letter U.com, or on Facebook. That'll take you to my pages. And love to talk to you guys. I just love helping people stay healthy.
And if you're in the Tulsa area, she's got an office in Catoosa, and you can go see the best chiropractor I've ever been to.
Right by the Hard Rock. Easy,
right by the Hard Rock.
Thank you.
So thank you all for joining us tonight. And you can find me on Facebook at My Life Redesigned, or at my website, which is VickiWashburn.com. Hope you all have a blessed week. Thanks for listening to A Boomer's Guide for a Vibrant Life.
Host of The Boomer's Guide to a Vibrant Life. Connect with Vicki at www.globalvoiceradio.com. Tune in next week for another edition of The Boomer's Guide to a Vibrant Life on Global Voice Radio, where your message and your voices are heard.